Dividing decimals by whole numbers. So what we're going to do is do our long division just like we always have. And along the way, I'll review the procedure for doing that. So as you see on the board behind me, I have a problem written. 1 38/100 divided by 6. Okay. I don't know of too many people that could do that in their head. So we are going to write that out in our long division format. So what we will do, the first number goes always goes inside the box, our division box. Okay, it's called the dividend. Now you don't have to memorize that term, but that's just what it's called. And then your divisor is the second number that goes outside the box. And then just so that you're aware, here's one that you probably should remember. Your answer is called your quotient. Quotient. I know we've heard that term before. We've used that term before. Our quotient is the answer in a division problem. Okay. So now we are saying 1 38/100 divided by 6. When we have a whole number out here, we can just start dividing. Okay? But the first thing we are going to do is deal with that decimal point. It's a very simple procedure. We take this decimal point and we move it up above our division line. Okay? We move it up here. So now we're going to start dividing. We're going to ask ourselves, how many times does 6 go into 1? Can we say 1 divided by 6 and get a whole number? No, we can't. So that's 0. It doesn't go in any time. So we can't do that yet. 0 times 6 is 0. We remember that. And then we are going to subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. Now here's where it's very important to keep all of our place values in order and all lined up. We're going to bring the next digit down. I like to draw that little arrow, at least for now, just to get us started. We are going to bring that 3 down. So now we ask ourselves, how many times does 6 go into 13? The answer is twice. So we put the 2 up here. 2 times 6 is 12. And now we subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Now we always have to check. If we get a number here after we subtract that's bigger than this, that means this number is not correct. So if we would have maybe ended up with a 7 here, oops, we can still take a 6 out. So we have to adjust that. Now we have a 1 here. We have to bring down our next digit, our 8, and then we ask ourselves, 6 goes into 18, how many times? What times 6 equals 18? And that's 3. 3 times 6 is 18, and we get 0 when we subtract. Once we get to 0, we are done, and our answer is 23/100. So 1 38/100 divided by 6 is 23/100. We will do a similar problem over here. We are evaluating this algebraic expression for this value. So we're just going to write it out, 312,000 divided by 4. So not many people can do this in their head like that. So we are going to write it out using long division. So the first number is the number that goes inside the division box. That is our dividend, and our divisor is 4. Our first step, remember, is to move the decimal point up. Now we can start dividing. Does 4 go into 0, or what times 4 equals 0? And that's 0. 0 times 4 is 0, and then we will subtract. Then we're going to bring down our next digit. I'm going to put that arrow there so that I always know that I did it. So now I have 3. 4, how many times does 4 go into 3? What can I multiply 4 by to get 3? Well, you can't. So I have another 0 up there. Don't worry, that's okay. 0 times 4 is 0. When we subtract, 3 minus 0 is 3. Now I'm going to bring down my next place value, which is 1. How many times does 4 go into 31? In other words, what times 4 equals 31 or is close to 31? So we know here that this is 7. It can go in 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. We will subtract. We will get 11 minus 8 is 3. Okay, good. Now we have our next digit. We bring down that 2. You see how these arrows really keep things lined up? I really, really encourage you to do that. So now we ask ourselves, how many times does 4 go into 32? Well, that's a good number. That's 8. 8 times 4 is 32. When I subtract, I get 0. I'm done now. So our answer to 312 thousandths divided by 4 is 78,000. And that is how you divide a decimal by a whole number.